Shot an Academy ratio like half of a Republic Pictures double bill, Kelly Reichardt's Meek's Cutoff became something of a minor legend overnight. Distaff, flamboyant, existential, colorful, bleak, beautiful. This was the sort of film you could be forgiven for thinking you'd dreamt. Will Patton and Michelle Williams play husband and wife, leading a wagon trail across Oregon's uncharted badlands in the late 19th century. Their guide is a cagey, talkative rake named Meek, played with zestful abandon by the usually reserved Bruce Greenwood.
I just made a man, and she come at him, just claws are swiping and teeth are snapping, and somehow Joe managed to get himself up on the backside of the bear, and he rolled around the cave like a bucking bull, and she took his scalp clean off on the roof of the cave that day. But you know what? He ate her in the end.
In a few brief shots, her montage, fleet but revealing, we see the little truths of life way out there where the outfits don't match the scenery. Reichardt's work is astoundingly rich, revealing dozens of cinematic reference points with what feels like the snapping of her fingers. We are instantly in her world of Bressonian ritual. Checkered with a sense of style borrowed from Nicholas Ray. A wearying, dusty western landscape left over from Monty Hellman towards the same existential truth. This is an anti-Western for the discerning fan, who's seen the West tamed, revered, killed, and then revived. The Western for someone who might claim to have seen all the genre has to offer. Reichardt's camera is classically trained here, so to speak, gathering the iconic figures roving in clean, expressive frames. The film will reveal the grueling work of life searching for a home, for purpose, of walking day in and day out, of not loving where you are or where you've been, of knowing nowhere to call home except the repeated motion of your hands under the performance of daily chores.
And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil.
The party is headed west and upset by the arrival of a native man who watches and silently judges the neophyte explorers on their way towards uncertainty. He may or may not know what's ahead of them, but he has to know more than the whites who keep him in bondage. Their mistrust is beautifully teased from the helpless party. They fear the native, but they may need him.
Don't put yourself out, boy. Go find some shade. We'll come find you when we're done.
Reichert does not disabuse her audience of any assumptions they might make about this party. They are capable of being the ugliest sort of people, and as such they are representative of the Americans who first called the land their own, and who still walk upon it. The further they travel, the less the land puts up with the stress of their footfall and their poisonous fear. The sight of her women finely adorned and dogged, walking across the landscape, is one of the defining images of cinema since 2010. It portends the unlikeliness of survival, a stubborn persistence of femininity in male country, of Riker herself improbably redefining the Western to meet her needs without seeming to break a sweat. It may indeed be headed nowhere, but the journey is everything. Meek's Cutoff is a transcendent object, a slow cinema wagon train into the fundamental incompatibility of humans, of those who believe that land belongs to whatever man passes over it, and those who know it belong to those with respect in their hearts for the other. It may be too late for men, but it can never be too late to learn empathy.